Hello, busy professionals, and welcome to episode number 27 of the You Deserve a Luxury Vacation podcast. I'm excited because today's episode, we're going to discuss private air charters, and I'm interviewing Chase from ACS. We're going to answer all the questions you have regarding booking a private air jet and the steps to booking a private air jet. Here we go. Welcome. You're listening to the You Deserve a Luxury Vacation podcast, where I provide valuable information to help busy professionals plan their next luxury vacation. I'm your host, BELVIN Baldwin II. So let the planning begin. Hello and welcome to the You Deserve a Luxury Vacation podcast. I am happy to have Chase Atani here from ACS, and we're going to talk about private air charter services. Now, I know a lot of people, they come to me and they ask, how do I charter a private flight and what are the steps? And, how do you even start the process? So we're going to go over those. We're going to ask some of the frequently asked questions that I have. I'm glad to have Chase on the line, who's working with the private air charter service to really give us the real deal of what it takes so you can take advantage of it. So Chase, how are you doing?
Good. Appreciate you having me on.
Thanks for coming on the podcast and kind of tell us a little bit, how long have you been in this industry?
Yeah, so in aviation, I've been in the industry about 5 years. I actually started with, an operator working directly with the aircraft. And then now I'm currently on the brokerage side. So working more on the front facing client side and then dealing with the operators.
Okay, good. So, let's just jump right into it. I think, a lot of people have been interested, especially when it comes to this new pandemic, what's out there. They're thinking, all right, let's try this private air service. So what is a private air charter? Can you kind of give us kind of an idea of what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. So private air charter, just think of it as an Uber, but for private jets. So, just same way that you request an Uber to come, pick you up and drop you off at a specific location at a specific time, very similar to how the aircraft charter works as well.
Okay. So that's good. So that means you have a lot of different options. So who uses it? Who are your clients or who uses private air charter?
Yeah. So, especially here in our office, anybody and everybody, right? High net worth individuals, business executives, a lot of sports talent, it's just any and everybody that has that need to save time and like that, I guess, kind of upper level of transportation.
Okay. You're saying pretty much high net worth business executives that kind of use the air charter. So I guess, the major question, what do you feel is the cost range from this? Start from where and where can it go?
The easiest way to answer this is just on an hourly basis. There are other factors that are kind of brought in when pricing out on a charter, but it's just specifically for the hourly rate. This could be anywhere from, say, $2,500 an hour all the way up to $10,000 an hour, just depending on the type of aircraft, the date of the trip, the location that you're going, among other things. So.
Okay. So when you're dealing with the clients who really like the private air charter, so it seems like a lot of people are going that way as compared to commercial sometimes. So what value do they have by chartering a private air jet?
Yeah, so I think the one thing that we're kind of looking at most recently is with the pandemic, with COVID, just being able to have that ease of mind to know that you and your loved ones, family, friends are going to be the only people on the aircraft, and not necessarily getting on a larger commercial aircraft for your trips. So I think that's something that we've been seeing a lot lately. Again, going back to the number one thing, it's going to be time. It's so valuable in that sense of being able to show up to a private terminal at the time that you want, walking through, getting on the aircraft, even pulling up your vehicle next to the aircraft, getting on and departing within 15 minutes, getting to your location, getting off the aircraft, back into another vehicle, and then you're on your way. So really, the time factor is definitely the number one, I'd say, reason. And then on top of that, obviously, depending on to what kind of aircraft we're looking at, what kind of trip that you're wanting to kind of utilize, it's going to be the luxurious experience. Some of these mid-heavy jets, super mids, super mid jets can be very luxurious inside with little kitchenettes, all the catering,
Mm.
the champagne, everything like that. So I would say that's another kind of good factor.
Okay, that's good. That's always good to know. The value out there, and you kind of pointed on towards my next question is the process. Everybody starts off with the commercial flight, and you have to get there 3 hours in advance, and you have to go through TSA and everything. It seems like it's a little different with a private jet because I always say at least the cars pull up actually to the jet hangar. So can you kind of just walk us through the process of boarding a private air jet?
Yeah, and I'll kind of start a little bit further. The whole experience starts within your first inquiry. So even with your first inquiry, being able to one, get a price, and then also the level of service, especially with air charter service that we provide, is anything and everything you need, we typically take care of. You need car service to get to the private terminal, the FBO in this case, the catering, as I mentioned, any special, whether it's like birthdays, the holidays, to make that experience special, kind of goes along with that process. And then from there, again, flying out of private terminals. So typically these are found on, I guess, larger airports, as well as there are private executive airports as well,
Okay.
to where you pull up to a gate or you pull up to the FBO, right next to the aircraft. You get off. There's what we call line service personnel that help load the aircraft with all your luggage, help bring anything on board. So everything is pretty much taken care of for you. All you just have to do is step onto the aircraft. Once our crew's ready to go, door shuts, and then you begin to taxi shortly after. There you typically depart, depending on the aircraft. And if you have a flight attendant on board, that's what catering will be served. Obviously, everything is going to be exactly what you ordered when you want it to be, put down or served for you during the flight. And then once you land, same process. You get off the aircraft, there'll be a car service waiting, or you walk back through the FBO, get in your vehicle. Again, line service personnel will be there to help offload the aircraft with all your luggage, and then you're on your way.
Okay, great. So it's no security or anything like that. You really just kind of pull up in your car, get into your private charter jet, and kind of take off from there.
Exactly. And so there's security aspects as far as when we're booking the charter, as far as passenger names. There are things on the back end that we're working on or
Mm.
working with just to ensure that everybody's safe, everything is well. But yes, correct. There's no TSA at these FBOs, is what we call them, fixed base operations.
Okay.
So private terminals in this case. So essentially, you are walking straight onto an aircraft.
Wow. Wow. That's interesting. Great. So what about, I think you talked about the different types of jets out there. Can you give us a few options of jets and how many travelers can be on each jet? Give us a range.
Absolutely. So yeah, so we'll kind of start. I know I kind of mentioned, starting from the $2,500 an hour all the way up to like 10K plus. Typically, where we start at, good aircraft, turboprop aircraft such as King Airs, PC-12s, good utility aircrafts that are cost effective, and typically these seat about 6 to 8 passengers. The benefits of these, I mean, they're still twin engine, they're turboprop, so not necessarily jets, but like I said, for short hops, typically these can fly up to 3.5 hours, depending on the turboprop, with 6 to 8 passengers, with great luggage space. So typically these are really good kind of regional aircraft to use. And then moving up, so you have the turboprops, then you get into light jets, which again, about the same size, but we're going to be using a twin jet engines. And from there, that's good for you as far as a time saving perspective, because the jet option is a lot faster than the turboprop option. So you're saving a little bit more time there. And then kind of moving up, I guess with that as well, that's about 6 to 8 passengers. Then we have the mid-size aircraft, which typically see up to 8. And that's going to be a little bit larger cabin, a little more comfortable. And some of these are somewhat newer aircraft as well. And again, faster, larger engines, going to be more time efficient. And then kind of going up to your super mids and your heavy jets. So these
Mhm.
are like your typical, I guess, where you're looking at music videos, all
Right.
these large cabin aircraft. Some can seat typically up to, I would say, 16 passengers. So can get very large, very luxurious. Interiors are immaculate in some aspects. And that's kind of where that luxury piece comes along. But that's going to be for coast to coast flights, and especially international flights where you're going, traveling 8, 10 hour flights, 12-hour flight times. that's going to be more on the higher end, like I said, about the 10,000 plus range for those.
Okay. I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. And let's just say, how far can the flight go? Can you fly to Europe? Can you fly to Southeast Asia? How far can we go? I know you talked about the 3 hour flights, but how far can we go?
Absolutely. Kind of going back to what I mentioned. So these aircraft can actually fly a lot longer than what's from a regulation perspective allows. So what regulations allow for X amount of time under what we call Part 135. And so within about a 10-hour window. So you can essentially go 10-hour flight time. And then even if you want to continue on, we can arrange crew swaps to where you'll land briefly, aircraft will refuel in some cases, you change crew and you can keep flying. So essentially, how far can you go? It's, almost unlimited.
Well, that's good. So, if, for example, if we were trying to go from Atlanta to Athens, usually a 10 to 12 hour flight, even if we stopped per se, it's not a layover like a commercial where you have to wait again. You could just refuel and get back on if you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Quick pit stop and refueling process is very common. Just a quick pit stop, you'll be taken to another FBO, another
Mhm.
private terminal, where you'll wait inside while the aircraft refuels. Typically takes about 45 minutes. Typically these FBOs are very accommodating as well, very comfortable to be in. And then once you get the okay from the crew, then you can go ahead and board and then depart again.
Okay. So, if you're flying, let's just say, a client comes to us and they're staying for a 5 night vacation. Would they pay for the jet to stay there for 5 nights, or is it a different jet that will depart and another jet for the return?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And that's something that we have to look into, especially on the broker side. So as we're consulting, we're trying to, be able to provide the best price for our clients. And if we get pricing where the aircraft stays, then we'll take that. If we need to go ahead and look at two different options, one for the ride down, one for the ride back, we'll look at that as well, just to ensure that we're getting the safest, most cost-effective option. And so typically it varies where you might land in, let's say, you go on a trip to Hawaii, where it's hard to kind of reposition back to the mainland.
Mhm.
The aircraft will stay with you, but typically common practice is that 2 day, 3 day window. Anything more than that, the aircraft might be used for a different trip in between, and then we'll come back, pick up, and take you to your final destination.
Okay, so that's good to know. Great to know. So with you partnering here up with Showtime Travel, what we're saying is pretty much our are going to get the best value out there. So we're going to customize the vacation or the flight in this situation to make sure that we get the best value and price and time for you. So if you're doing 5 nights, maybe it's great for it to stay, or maybe we can get another service leaving on that fifth night. So you may not have to pay for the crew to get there, but we're just going to look for the best value. Is that pretty much it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And so essentially where you have clients where it's, a specific destination, everything else is getting that best value. Not only that, but really understanding the trip profile, right? So depending on where your clients are based versus where the vacation destination is, that's all taken into consideration to make sure that we're also getting the appropriate aircraft for the trip as well.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Now let's walk through. All right, somebody comes in and they say, we get an inquiry on our website, showtimetravel.com, and they've listened to this and they're ready to start the process for the air charter service. What answers do they need to have so we can start the process? I'm pretty sure the destination is one, but what are the requirements so we can at least start looking for the best service for them?
Absolutely. It's very similar actually to commercial flights, right? How many passengers are going to be going, the dates of the trip, when they're departing, when they need to return, if there's any specific times that they need to take into account to depending on check-in, check-out, things like that. Yeah, so passengers, date, times, any special requirements that they might have, whether it be, luggage, kind of luggage amount. But typically, like I said, it's very similar. Just as long as we have, like you said, the destination, passenger dates, then that's a great starting point for us to be able to kind of go to the market and find that aircraft.
Good, good. So when it comes to, we were talking about value, and I get sometimes a lot of celebration groups. They may be celebrating an anniversary. They may be celebrating a milestone birthday, heck, even a reunion. And that they may have, I don't know, 6 to 10 people on, and they want to go there directly. What value would you see with that group taking a private charter?
Yeah. So there's so many reasons to, just depending on the person to want to charter. And we get a lot of requests where, you're having those anniversaries, you want to have that special moment, and you want to make that trip just an unforgettable experience. And
Mhm.
so that's where a charter comes into in a lot of cases. Again, kind of the utility of it. A lot of people value the time saving value, but then that special feeling of being able to charter, and especially with the holidays or vacations, spending time with family, being on the aircraft with your family, traveling together, sharing moments in the air, if you will. Those are a lot of values that we see and that we get feedback from our clients.
Great. And that's where we come from as well with Showtime Travel. Our motto is you deserve a luxury vacation. And this is a luxury style here with private charter. Can you kind of tell us about what they should expect while they're on board?
Absolutely. So, I mean, typically, like I said, you get on the aircraft, depart, and just depending on the trip profile, if we do have a flight attendant on board, we'll take care of every need the client has. Any requests that were kind of submitted ahead of time, such as catering, any refreshments, anything like that, will be taken care of. A lot of beautiful spreads, if requested, and a lot of it comes standard as well. So you're getting everything that you need completely catered for when you have that flight attendant on board. Regardless, when you're on, like your turboprop aircraft or light jets where there's no flight attendant, there's still refreshments. We call it a standard stock. So that typically includes light snacks, drinks, water, typically things like that where you have access to. So while you're on board, it's a very comfortable, relaxing experience and getting these amenities as well.
Do you have Wi-Fi on board?
That's a great question. Yeah, so depending on the aircraft, Wi-Fi is included with the charter. So again, coming down to turboprop aircraft, some light jets, some mids might not offer it. Some do. So that's just something that we take into account whenever we talk to clients, kind of understand what their needs are. And if Wi-Fi is a requirement, then that's something that we definitely kind of note and make sure that we provide.
Okay, great, great. Well, I think that pretty much answers a lot of my questions. And it's some of the questions that I know that some of my clients have asked me to make sure that I stated on this podcast. Is there something that you feel that I may have missed?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is the stipulation that a charter could be very pricey, and depending on the market, especially in Atlanta, especially in the Southeast, there's a lot of great deals where we can get on turboprops to where instead of flying commercial, doing the going through TSA, doing all these things, you can get on a smaller aircraft and be able to save a lot of that time and get a great experience. Whether that's flying down to Florida, going to the Bahamas, all these are very reachable locations. And being able to find the appropriate aircraft, especially in the market right now, I think that's kind of a stipulation, is it's not as crazy as people might often think. So there are affordable, safe options out there that can get the job done and create that special experience.
And that's one of the reasons why, I kind of asked you about value. And I think you hit it right there. You're looking at some of the prices when it comes to even, I just priced out a flight to go, just Atlanta to Jamaica, and you're talking about $700-800. But if you have 10 people going, it may be a great value to upgrade to a private jet. If it's something that you want to, get that experience, because you can possibly add that in there instead of doing a flying commercial. Or, if it's something that you feel that is very special to you and you want to experience, and time is of the essence, and I definitely think that this is a great option for you. And the thing that I really like is our partnership with ACS here. We're going to work to give you the best value out there. It's not just a one-stop shop. I mean, well, it is a one-stop shop, but we're looking at a variety of different locations to get the best value for you. So, for example, Chase, they don't have to be located in Atlanta. They can be located everywhere, right? And we can help them out.
Correct. Especially for me and the rest of my team, we have access to over 55,000 aircraft. So as far as where you're located, it does not necessarily matter. I mean, especially for the trip, yes, but you don't necessarily have to be in Atlanta. Like I said, we have access to the aircraft. There's very many. And this one thing as well that I explain is, you have your main kind of airports. There's a lot more private airports to be able to fly into and be able to be more flexible, right? So if you're looking into a main hub, being able to find an executive airport that's maybe right down the road from your in location versus flying into that main airport, that's also kind of goes a part of the time saving and that special experience of kind of eliminating the travel. It's being able to spend more time with the people that you're traveling with.
Right, right. I like how you state that, Chase. So you don't even have to go into the main, for example, in Atlanta, you wouldn't have to go into Hartsfield, or if you're in New York, you don't have to go to LaGuardia or JFK. There's a lot of different regional air flights that you could take advantage of, so which will allow you to save a great amount of time. So I think that's an outstanding point there. Outstanding. I've learned so much about this, and I know that my clients and my listeners here will want to take advantage of it. And just to help, Chase has stated what we need. But if you want to start the booking process, just make sure you visit showtimetravel.com and click on the Design My Luxury Experience tab, and we can start working on that for you. And we can also design this with a travel package to meet your needs. So we customize packages for you. We just wanted to let you know that there is a private air option out there for you and that we can provide the best value to meet your needs. Chase, thank you so much for coming on this call and really discussing this for the You Deserve a Luxury Vacation podcast. I'm already getting calls here. Look at that.
Oh, that was quick.
Already getting calls here. So, well, thank you again. I appreciate it. I think we answered a lot of questions that are out there. And I look forward to working with you and really getting some people who are ready to take those private air charters. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Like I said, I appreciate you having me on. I'd love to do this anytime.
All right. Appreciate it. Hey, busy professionals. Thank you for listening to the You Deserve a Luxury Vacation podcast. If you like the show, make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. This helps other busy professionals like yourself find the podcast. If you want help planning a luxury vacation, please visit showtimetravel.com. Also, you will be able to get more valuable tips and behind-the-scenes footage by following me on social media. You can find me on YouTube under Showtime Travel, LinkedIn under BELVIN Baldwin II, Instagram under Showtime Travel, and my personal Luxury Travel by BELVIN. Thanks again, and remember, you deserve a luxury vacation.